Under the moonlight, the family of rabbits gathered as they did every night, singing, dancing, and enjoying each other's company in happiness and peace. After some time, the wise old white rabbit felt thirsty. He went to the well, lowered the bucket, and let the rope unravel until it touched the water. When he began pulling it back up, the bucket felt light. The old rabbit realized that the water level in the well had dropped. Worried, he grabbed a longer rope, tied it to the bucket, and lowered it even further to reach the remaining water. He drank and left the bucket by the well, pondering the situation. If the water dries up completely, we will be thirsty, the grass will wither, and we will have no food. He returned to his family, who were still dancing and enjoying themselves. The old rabbit sat quietly, deep in thought about the well's water. His wife, the red rabbit, asked him what was on his mind, followed by his gray rabbit friend. The old rabbit raised his voice, saying, "Stop dancing and singing, everyone. The well is drying up. If it dries completely, we will die of thirst and hunger." The rabbits were stunned by his words but didn't believe him. How could a well that had always been full suddenly dry up? They ignored his warning and returned to their burrows. But the old rabbit was convinced that something was wrong, so he decided to speak to them again. The next morning, the rabbit family gathered in the green meadow. The old white rabbit tried to warn them again, but they interrupted him, refusing to listen. One even mocked him, saying, "If you want to dig a new well, go dig it yourself." Determined, the old rabbit and his red rabbit wife set out to find a suitable place to dig a new well. After searching, they found a low spot surrounded by trees, where many families of colorful birds lived, guarded by a large brown dog. The dog barked loudly when he saw the rabbits approaching. "What are you doing here?" he asked. The old rabbit replied, "We are looking for a place to dig a new well, and this spot seems perfect." The birds overheard the conversation, discussed it, and agreed to help the rabbit. Days passed, and the old rabbit and his wife worked tirelessly, digging the ground with their front paws. The dog helped by carrying the soil in sacks in his mouth and dropping it far away, while the birds carried as much as they could in their beaks and feet, flying off to release it elsewhere. Over time, the soil turned to mud, and water began to rise from the ground. Meanwhile, the water in the old well continued to drop until it dried up completely.